how do we combat the forces that shape the global economics? I mean, when you know that there are fossil fuel companies who will do anything to sustain their grip on the profiteering, who will go to any lengths to deny or subvert movements to challenge the validity of fossil fuels, when you know that the banks are a law unto themselves and can manipulate governments, when you know that there is a commitment to global capitalism across most parts of the world, how do you combat those forces when it comes to persuading people that the solutions that you're talking about rely on all those sort of huge forces in the global so-called market economies to be challenged? And how is that possible, Asad? I mean, I believe in the power of popular movements, and we've all seen the power of the rallies that are on the street right now for the environment and for Gaza, but they're having very, very little, and I'm part of those, but there's very, very little impact on government policy when it comes to actually shifting anything and making a difference.
So I mean, I can give you an example, right? I mean, I think this is where thinking about how you tell the story and the story we tell is really, really important at this moment, and who's in this story. So you're right. Sometimes, the power of like the far right populism is profound, right? Because we talk about these injustices that are happening. They're in this thing over there. It's this economic system, and it's people and it's companies over there. And of course they say, well, it's that person down the street. It's that migrant who lives at the bottom of the street, right? It's a much easier because you can visualize this person, but you can't visualize this. So how do we do that? Well, one of the areas we've been looking at is like wealth tax. So in the last year, for every $1 that's earned by the 99%, the millionaires, they added 2.3 million to their wealth. But the billionaires, they added 2 million a day to their wealth. We're about to have our first trillionaire in the world, right? The wealth is the extraction from the poorest to the rich. And this is happening not just in the south, but it's happening in the north. So actually, if you look at calls for wealth taxes, it's one of the most important calls that's happening in the global south and increasingly in the global north as well. How do we want to pay for our public services? Do you want to, tax the rich, tax the wealthy? So I think that there are places of entry that allow you to begin to talk about our economy in a different way.